In this module, we'll see how to add reminder notes and how to produce our standard forms. One of our most popular tools is our notes. I'll show you an easy way to add a note to a case. Before we get started, I want to point out that I have no high priority notes on any of my cases at this time. If I did, they would show up here on my home page. Now let's get started by opening the last case we worked on. Notice that the Summary tab of each case also has a place to highlight high priority notes. I am back on the Client tab, and notice what we have in the far right corner. Anytime you see this yellow note icon, you can click on it to add a note. By default, the subject line will be the case ID that you entered when you first opened the case. You should change that to be something more specific. The large text box below can hold a book's worth of information. You probably won't need that much space, but go ahead and put the details of your note in this area. Notice that the default action is don't email this note, but you do have the option to do so. You can email it now, or you can pick a date in the future to email it as a tickler or reminder. You can email it to people already on this case team, or you can add the email address of someone else to receive the note. However, it is not appropriate to email these notes to your clients. This is intended to be an internal tickler email only. When you're finished, click the Add button. Nothing will have changed on the Client tab, so we'll click on the Notes tab to see our note. Notes are listed with the most recent note at the top of the list. To edit a note, click on the date it was added. When I first created this note, I forgot to mark it as a high priority, so I'll do that now. Let's go back and check the Summary tab of this case. Now that my note is a high priority note, it's being listed on the Summary tab. If I check my home page, I should also see it listed there. And there it is. Now let's take a look at the Reports and Docs tab so you can see where you go to produce your letters and forms. There are 3 main sections for every case. We have case reports, client letters and legal documents, and federal forms. Depending on what state you office in, you may have signed up for state forms, including Connecticut, Florida, New York, or Massachusetts. Click on a triangle to expand the list of available forms in each section. Case reports pertain to the current case only and will open in a new tab. You could also open them in an editable Excel file if you wish by clicking on the Excel icon on the right side. Let's look at the Beneficiary Report. Regardless of how large your monitor is, these reports will always print properly on 8.5 by 11 paper. Let's go back and look at another one. Let's jump ahead and look at federal forms. For this example, let's look at Form 2848, Power of Attorney and Declaration of Representative. Notice the icon denotes this is a PDF type of document. The purple arrows in a circle mean that this document will automatically download when I choose it. Because I am using Chrome, the notice that the downloaded file is ready to open appears at the bottom of my screen. If you use Internet Explorer, your notification will look slightly different. No matter what browser you use, all documents from Probate Plus are downloaded to your computer's default download folder location, so you can find them later. I can simply click on this here to open it. All PDF forms will open in whatever you use as your default PDF tool. In my case, I use Acrobat Reader. You can see the data that came from my case, but I can still add information and resave the form. Let's look at another type of form. You can close this extra tab. Let's take a look at some state forms. This case happens to be based in Florida. You should recognize the way the state forms are organized. Also notice that some of the forms are PDFs and others are in Word file format. I'll run this caveat by creditor for my case. This is the interview screen. It will walk you through adding in extra information that is not necessarily stored in Probate Plus. Then it will produce the form. I'll use the Next button at the bottom of the screen to move through the interview, but you can also see the steps in the tree structure on the left. As you can see, most of this information is coming from the information I already added in Probate Plus. This message means the interview is over, and when I click OK, my form will be downloaded and ready for me to open and work on. The first thing you should be aware of is that the file is given a random number along with the form number as the file name. Also, it is produced in the RTF or rich text file format. You will want to change that to docx when you rename it and save it into your system. Something else you might notice is funny-looking text surrounded by asterisks. These are the fields that were left empty in Probate Plus, so there was no data to input into the form. Those are the placeholders. Now let's go back to our case. This is what the interview page looks like when it's completed. We can close this tab. We've covered case reports, federal and state forms. Now let's go back and talk about the client letters and legal documents. The envelope number 10 allows you to select specific contacts from the case and print standard number 10 envelopes with their addresses on them. Let's take a look at the Florida Estate Administration calendar. Based on the data I've entered, this report gives me all of the official dates for the state of Florida that I need to remember. All the letters with EW at the end are our publisher's examples of different letters frequently produced, but they may not be in your firm's font or have the layout for your letterhead. Make sure you watch our letter writer video and check out the letter writer guide from the support page for more information about customizing your letters and documents. Thank you for watching!